You're on mute.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, welcome to our Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a bye week last week. I so it gave everybody an opportunity to get a break. You know, we go through every Tuesday that we can, but there are some times when I really need to engage with the community in person. And I attended an event called Bibles and Cigars, y'all.
Did you
Yes,
say Bibles and cigars?
Bibles and Cigars. Listen, I was smoked out. Well, let me rephrase. I wasn't smoking, but the room was filled with all kinds of smoke. Oh my goodness. But it was actually a really great experience. I'm actually planning to go back two more times before the primary vote. It was a really good opportunity to connect with more people in my district. So if you haven't seen those pictures, I'm going to repost them because we did take pictures. So it was a great time, a great time. Interesting. And I loved it. Everyone, thank you so much for joining our Facebook live tonight. My name is Kamilah Bywaters. I'm running for the Board of School Trustees in District E. And tonight, what I wanted to talk about was, you know, the campaign buzz, the power, the pitfalls, and potential impact. Listen, you out there in Facebook land, you are always welcome to join us. You are welcome to come on. If you're a candidate, you're welcome to come on the show, introduce yourself, and just have a great conversation with us. If you're a student, you are welcome to come on. Let us know what you're thinking about, what some of your concerns are. We love to hear from you. I created this space so that I can be more engaged with our students, our teachers, administrators, and support staff and professionals that really support schools, and also bringing together wonderful topics that we could talk about that are ingrained and have a foundation of education. Before we have some wonderful guests on tonight that I can't wait to introduce you to, I'm going to go ahead and let Mr. Rodney do his introduction.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. Of course, we have Sister Kamilah Bywaters, who's running for School Board District E to be the trustee there. And I know she's going to do great things. One of those great things is by engaging with you right here, right now, before she even gets elected. And really, this should be the standard for all of the elected officials. It is very important that they knock on doors, but they're not going to reach everyone. So that opens up another opportunity for dialogue. And this is something that she can carry forward once she is elected. So you can have that one-on-one time with a person that's going to represent you for what we say is our most important thing, and that's our future, which is through our children. Because look at a child and you're looking at the future. My name is Rodney Smith with Our Own Voices, the gathering that meets every Friday from 12 to 2 or longer at the Westside Oasis, and also Our Daily Bread. And we deliver food. That's what we do. We get food, it's donated to us, and then we like to disseminate it through our community. Our next big food giveaway will be on April 20, I believe it's April 24th, the last Wednesday of April on H and Owens, at 10:30 a.m. We had a busload of food, y'all, the last Wednesday of March, and we plan on bringing that, if not more, come the end of this month. So hopefully, if you know somebody, come on out. If you need some food yourself, come on out. But in the meantime, join us every Tuesday night right here from 6 to 7 so we can talk about education, your children, which is our future.
Awesome. That was a great introduction. You're so right. And that's actually going to come up tonight because I was thinking, you know, if we say that we care about education, like now is the time to show with money, to show with help, to show in all kinds of ways. And I'm really glad that we have candidates on tonight who can really talk about their experiences. So it's not only me. And then we have you, Mr. Rodney, who has a wealth of experience to really share and really work on engaging our community in helping to get good people elected so that we can really begin to shift and change ideas. Like, we hear the complaints all the time. Listen, we need your help right now. And I want to give a big shout out to my family, because just my little old family, big shout out to the kids. They have helped me knock 364 doors. And I know people are probably like, oh, it's not a lot. But for our little family, we've been out here hustling. My nieces and my nephew are like running from door to door. So we really, and I put together a little flyer. I'm like, look, y'all, it's us. We need your help. So any way that you could help to support candidates and myself who are out here really working hard to get into the position, this is your time to shine. Yeah. And I do want to give our friends who have come on, who are on with us tonight, to go ahead and introduce themselves and let us know what they're running for. I'm not sure, Laura, I think you stepped away. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to you, Dr. Holmes Sutton.
Good evening to you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to share space with you here. I am grateful for certainly your support, but also the invitation and the embrace. My name is Tanya Holmes Sutton. I'm a national board certified teacher. I support teachers in leadership and advocacy, and have really been serving in the community as an educator in the classroom and outside of the classroom for more than 20 years now. I am running for Board of Regents District 4. I'm hoping to earn your vote and your support along the way. And will acknowledge that I have a bit of board experience, have been serving on the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards out of DC, as well as Wested Board of Directors in San Francisco. I'm a former board trustee for the National Teachers Hall of Fame out of Kansas, a former governor-appointed member of the Nevada State Board of Education, and I'm currently serving as the chair for the Nevada School Public Charter School Authority Board. And just, again, very, very grateful for the opportunity to be able to engage with you all and to have you bring me into the circle.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm so excited. Listen, excited. Does anyone else want to introduce themselves?
Hey, Sister Kamilah, before we go on to the next person, if we could get Dr. Holmes Sutton to share the job description of a regent. We hear about trustees all the time. Unless Laura is on the call, we never hear from the regents. So this would be a great time to share with the people what a regent is, what they do, and why it's important to have a good regent.
I can field that one, Mr. Smith. Laura Perkins here, one of the current serving regents for District 1. Let's start off with what is a regent. A regent is the governing body for the 8 institutions that are publicly funded in the state of Nevada. Let's see, there's 4 community colleges, 1 state university, 2 R1 universities, and a research institute. The board makes policies for all of those institutions. It's like running 8 little cities. It's like running 8 little cities. We hire and fire presidents is one of like the most outward thing that we do. And we hire and fire the chancellor, again, which is one of the most public things that we actually do.
Okay, and why is it important for the community to be engaged with regents in the election of regents? And then what can the community do as we move, once you're in office?
I know the most, when I first got elected, the most thing I felt was alone, because most people don't come to the meetings, they don't do public comment, they don't do emails. Heck, my private phone, my phone number is on the website. I don't think I can count the times that I've had people call me on the phone, and I want to be accessible, and so that's why I put my phone number out there like that, so that you can call me about anything. Most recently, There was like a barrage when somebody, one of the board members said something that was in poor taste. There was a barrage of emails. I think I counted 250, just to me. Not, I don't know how many of the other regions got it, but that's not the norm, and that should be. We're talking about very important subjects. We determine one of the things I would like to bring up is that there is a scholarship right now for foster children, or they were children at the time, children that were fostered in the state of Nevada. They get a fee waiver. So things like that are important, and there needs to be a voice at the table that expressing different and varying points of view. Diversity is so important, whether it's socioeconomic diversity, whether it's ethnicity, whether it's male, female, gender diversity. We need to have all those people at the table so we can get a full picture and make better decisions. Right now, I am the only Black female on the board, which is kind of an uphill. It's an uphill battle, and it's always a battle because I'm the only one saying these things or seeing things a certain way.
Okay.
So
well, Laura,
did that answer it?
Thank you for sharing that. And since you are up, we thought you had stepped away. So if you could tell us, even though you are currently serving region, I believe you're running for a new office. If you want to introduce yourself and what that new office is.
Oh, well, thank you, kind sir. My name is Laura Perkins, and I am running for State Senate District 4. One of the first questions I get is why. Thank you. Thank you. That's very encouraging. I appreciate that. One of the things that people ask me is, why do you want to run? And I had this explanation, and somebody really close and dear to me said, "Hey, just kiss it, keep it short, right?" So, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'll keep it short. I think I can do more good for my community from the state position. I've done what I can with the Board of Regents to try to better my community. And I think if I go upstream to where the budget is, who controls the budget and who controls the purse strings, I think I can do more to have my community's voice heard.
Okay, follow the money. That's what they always say, right?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
I know we have a lot of following in CCSD. A lot of following that we need to do in CCSD. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you both have joined us today. Please, what's important to me is that this is not a me show, but this is a us show. And I really want us to, engage in dialogue. And, specifically tonight, we're talking about campaigns and the hurdles and the triumphs and the pitfalls. And there's a lot of things that I've been thinking about and trying to still stay in the running without talking crazy and eliminating myself. It is hard. It really is hard. And, because knowing when to, because I do get frustrated. Like there's things that people are saying and doing that are frustrating to me. I don't know if you all know, but I had someone who was going to donate money to my campaign, a large amount, and then they took the money back because of they were upset about what was going on in Palestine and didn't feel that I don't know, if wasn't speaking up enough about it. So I'm just like, okay, my feelings were really hurt. And all of us who are candidates, and this is my first time running for office. So, I'm getting on the phone. We're on the phone calling people that we haven't spoke to in 20, 30 years. Like I called a friend and I was like, she's like, hey, her first comment was, girl, I haven't heard from you in 20 years. And I'm like, well, yeah, hey, actually I'm calling because, and so it's a really humbling.
Put your hand out.
Yeah, I'm calling with my hand out. I'm asking you for a large amount of money. So it is very humbling experience. And there are going to be times. So that really hurt my feelings. Really. I literally I cried because I was so like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened, you know? And then there was another incident where someone said they weren't supporting my campaign because of something that someone else did that I have no clue about. And I'm thinking, what? And I really was going to go off more today. And I tried everything in my soul not to even bring it up. But I said, you know what? No, because if you're that person, those people out there, and you at one point you believed in us, the people they believe in, they're like, hey, you're the person for the job. And then it's like one moment in time with some person that's causing drama in another place that we don't even know about. And then you're pulling your support because of something that happened. Now, I'm not saying that it's not a traumatizing experience for you, but I mean, you all can chime in, but it was really like a wake up call for me, like, dang, this is a cold type of situation we're in. And, Tracy has really been, helpful. And we're literally on the phone like all day fundraising, making connections and making sure that you're helping me to stay on task and working through how to handle people who are going to be like that, because it's going to happen. And it brings me into the conversation around, you know, you I'm I, I'm you should you have been able to see community, the work that I've been doing in this community. So there are plenty of opportunities to vet my work. There are plenty of opportunities to vet Regent Perkins. Like, we were just on the phone, and I feel like every time we're on the phone with Regent Perkins, she's flying state to support students at UNLV. And, so we're out here doing the work, and it's really disheartening when someone will have an experience with someone else that has nothing to really do with the work that we're doing and will, pull their support. But hey, I guess it's the nature of people. And I'm just focusing on staying true to the task that is before me and getting into the school board so that we can create change together. As I've been going around and listening to our community, and specifically in the Clark County School District, people are tired of the mess and the drama, and they want change. And it's absolutely important that you support the good candidates who are out here, who've shown you the work that they can show you what they can accomplish. Let me turn this off and put it up hot. Mommy? And show you what we're accomplishing. Really quick, I wanted to provide, did anybody have anything they wanted to say?
And did anybody else want to introduce themselves? I see we have a few people here.
A college school.
Okay, it looks like, and if you do, just wave your hand or something, or send us a message if you still want to introduce yourself. But one of the things that Sister, what I take out of what Sister Kamilah just said, and from my own experience running, is that no matter what you've read about campaigning, what you've read about how to run a campaign, it's nothing like actually being in your own campaign. And whatever we think about all of those folks who think we're doing a good job, those things tend to change once you actually start running. Those people who might have even said you should run for office one day, you sort of look around and they're not there. They're not there in moral support. They're not there in phone banking. They're not there in door knocking. And they're not there in opening their wallet, even if it's for $5. And sometimes that can be demoralizing, because you say, wait a minute, weren't you the person that told me I should run and told me what a great job I would do? And to a certain extent, the way that we do campaigns pushes those good candidates. And what I mean by good candidates is those people who are a proven entity in the community. Oftentimes, campaigning, the actual concept of campaigning itself, keeps those people from campaigning. They would rather just do what they're doing as best as they can versus getting into this political structure of a campaign, because it can be demoralizing. And, unfortunately, you get to see humans humaning, and that's not always pleasant either. We have this ideal version of who we are until you need those people to be who that you thought that they were, and you find out that they weren't. And that's tough. But if you believe in your cause and you're true in your mission, you learn how to grow some thick skin and kind of be like a guy at a dance, at a party. A guy sort of asks this girl to dance when the song comes in, and she turns him down, so he goes to the next one and turns him down. So we make a circuit. Typically, we'll start at the ones closest to us, and we'll go around until we make it back to our seat. And if we get turned down all of those times, we'll go back to our seat until the next song comes on that we like, and then we'll start the process all over again. That's the life as a man, for some of you who may not be aware of it. So we have to grow thick skin and be able to take a no, or not now, maybe next time. This really isn't my song. And wait till the next one, or go to the next one. And campaigning is a lot like that. You knock on doors, they don't answer. They say, why don't you call? So you call, and they'll say, I don't know you. Text. And then you text, and they say, you're filling up my text. It's like, well, shucks, how are you? You say you want to know the candidates, but every way I try for you to know me, I go to your house, you got no soliciting signs, and your dog starts barking. I call you, how did I get your number? And then if I text you, so sometimes as candidates, you have to learn that people don't understand candidates and what it is to be a candidate. So really, it's a learning process.
Laura?
Now, of course, we have Laura, yes, who has run a successful campaign. Maybe you can shed some light onto this discussion.
Why, thank you. What I got out of what I hear both of you, it's a humbling experience. I don't know if it's degrading or, like you said, I think it's just humbling, because we, in our circle of friends, we're a big fish. We're a star, But then, like I told one candidate, they're like, well, everybody knows me. I'm like, first of all, you're going to lose with that attitude, because come into it with nobody knows who you are. Literally, I've been a regent for 5 years, and there are people out there, believe it or not, that do not know I'm a regent, but and I don't know whether that's because of our city or the transientness of our city. People move around a lot, but it's very humbling. Nobody knows who you are, no matter how many great things you've done in the community. Heck, if they didn't know Jesus in the next town, how are they supposed to know me around the block, right? And also, you both of you hit on something about reaching people. How do you engage the unengaged? I mean, that is really the key to getting people involved again, because I know I was like Kamilah, I was everywhere. I still am everywhere, but now it's just a smaller circle because I'm trying to do the regent job. So I don't get to go to like the community picnics anymore, because I'm either in Reno or Elko or Ely or Eureka, someplace around Nevada. Or in, like Kamilah said, even out of state sometimes. So I don't get to do those events anymore. But I used to go to every like pie making, chili tasting, cotton candy, barbecue. I used to go to everything just so I could reach and touch the community. But how do you touch the people who aren't doing that? I mean, who, like you said, you can't reach them by phone, because I know I don't answer phone numbers that I don't know. Knock on the door, can't really do that, because, like, why are you knocking on my door? You woke up my baby, or I'm a day sleeper, or no soliciting, which I respect. But how am I supposed to reach you? How am I supposed to shake your hand? How am I supposed to hear what you have in mind, or what you need in this community? I think that's part and parcel of being a good public servant. But how do you reach the unengaged, the people who don't write letters, the people who don't call you?
Yeah.
That's the $1 million question.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. And I didn't even know, because I hear people say, and they're like, oh, I'm known. I'm like, no, you're known by the leaders and the people who are engaged. But the people that we're knocking on doors, the people that I've knocked on doors with have no clue. They don't know who Moms for Liberty is. And we know that if you've been watching, Moms for Liberty is, a right-wing extremist group, want to ban books, don't believe in inclusive education. They talk crazy about transgender children, and they don't know what's going on with schools. The most recent thing that I did have a conversation with is some of them do know that Jar was fired and was given $250,000, and that's about it. But beyond that, and they're mad about that. But beyond that, you're right. They're not engaged. They're just, in their lives trying to work, what they have going on. And I think that's why knocking on doors is really powerful thing. I've heard so many voters say, no one's ever come, no one's ever called. And I mean, that's interesting to me, because I'm like, well, people have run before. So I don't know, maybe that's not the thing for people to really be grassroots, boots on the ground, knocking on doors, calling people. Because I have heard a lot of people say, wow, I've gotten a couple of people to say, you know what, I'm voting for you because no one else has ever called me or come to my door. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep knocking then. So, I'm going to keep doing it.
What you're saying
I heard that quite a bit
true.
too.
People want to be touched, but as much as they want to be touched for the vote, sometimes they play a game of hide and seek in how you can touch them. Mm-hmm. And so knocking on doors is something that we have to do, and it is the thing. As a matter of fact, I would say knocking on doors is just as important, or is actually turning out voters maybe more important than anything else that you can do. But there is a huge number of doors to be knocked. And as you're door knocking, there's a whole bunch of people that you're never going to reach, even door knocking. Mm-hmm. And a part of the education process for our children, so that they can be better citizens, is simply educating them on the importance of making themselves available to their next potential representative. Yeah. Here's a reality. Most people do not know who they're going to vote for until they show up to the polls, to the polls. And then when they vote, it's typically because they have heard that person's name someplace. They saw a sign someplace. It's not typically for the reasons that we think, oh, that's great policy. There are people who do that, but they're actually the minority. The majority of the people vote because either they know you or they saw you. That's how people tend to vote, unless they have a friend who says, hello, girl, did you know Rodney? That guy is pretty cool. He's kind of handsome sometimes too, and he's out there in the community. You need to vote for him. So, I'm trying to be a little funny here, but that's really that person to person. Somebody knows Sister Kamilah, somebody knows Sister Laura, or Regent Perkins, someone knows Dr. Holmes Sutton, and tells somebody else. That person to person contact, we need to do a better job of that too. And what I remind people is that when they had the March on Washington, there was no social media. Barely there were telephones, especially in the Black community, but they did people to people contact. And we have to be better as candidates in that people to people contact, but then people have to be better in the people to people contact to share the good news, as it were, about those candidates that they know. Tell their friends. That's how the word can get around. And that's really what will turn people out to vote.
Yeah.
I have a question about, you said it, like in the March on Washington, people played outside. People would sit on their door stoops and, talk to their neighbors. We don't too much do that anymore. So how,
that's true.
I'm just curious, how would we do that today, on a dime, on a very limited budget? because, you know, if you had $1 million, then you just do advertising on all the social media platforms and you'd be fine. But how do you do that on a slim budget? How do you reach, because we don't hang out like that. We don't have the backyard barbecues or the, you know what I mean? Or the swimming pool parties. We don't do those anymore. I should speak for myself, huh? I don't do
well,
those.
you know, you're probably speaking for a whole bunch of people. The reason why we do food pops-ups in neighborhoods is to bring neighbors together, because it is unfortunate that a lot of neighbors today don't know their neighbors. As a matter of fact, if it was a crowd of 3 people, they may not be able to pick out their neighbor, and they're one of the 3 people. And so that goes back into that overall education of being, how to be good citizens, how to be good neighbors, because still today, the best way to get votes is to know someone who likes you, what you stand for, and for them to have a party on your behalf, whether that's a barbecue or some type of meet and greet at their house or their clubhouse, or some mutually agreed upon location. That is how we have to do it, because what we have allowed to happen is we got a little lazy and said, well, if I just get enough money, I can reach people through advertising, through radio and television, and now through social media. And yes, you can, in a superficial manner. But what that did do is take away the person-to-person contact, and how it hurts new candidates, especially candidates who are not elected, is they don't have those big war chests. They don't have those big donors. So now we have almost oligarchs, in other words, people who have money that get elected. But what about the good person that's out there doing the job, that's middle class or not? How do they get the word out? The current system, if we continue to perpetuate it, we will continue to require the big money to reach people. Whereas simply, I say, hey, Robin, I'm running for office. I know you're in a union. Maybe you can do a house party with some of your friends and invite them over to hear me. Because once they hear me, I know they're going to like me. And then maybe they will tell their friends. See, I think that that's something that as candidates, we have to push that issue. And if you don't have any money, that's the way you're going to have to do it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Really quick, I wanted to acknowledge the people in our Facebook that joined us on Facebook. Let's see, Tammy Green, big shout out. And she also has some comments here that she is commenting. We got Belinda Denise. Hey, thank you for joining us. Let's see, we got Tamika Henry. Tamika Henry's running for School Board District C. Thank you.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep. Pastor West is on. So
Pastor West is always on. You know what, Sister Camille, we're gonna have to come up with an award for the most faithful listener watcher to the show.
You know what?
And
That's a good
Pastor
idea.
West might win that, because I don't know if he has missed one.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And to let you know, Pastor West and Tracy and I have been working together to help me really to reach out to more community members to do fundraisers and stuff like that. So we really appreciate that because exactly what we're talking about now, we were just having that conversation on how we can pull our networks in to get us on these seats so that we could, you know, really begin to shift power. I know on the board of education, or on the, not board of education, but on the school board for CCSD, we have an opportunity to shift power. Like if you want to see a school board do some different things, now is the time to be more involved in listen, this is the time. And what they say, well, I don't know the quote I was thinking of. I don't know, it was one of them quotes. But this is absolutely the time. If you have not done anything else, like this is the time to really be hands on deck for the school board. We have been complaining and fussing and fighting for even beyond Superintendent Jara. Beyond that, like we really have an opportunity to have a majority vote that really believes and wants to work with the community. Now that right there is an awesome thing. And I think that we should let your friends know that, you know, we're running, and, you know, donate, phone with us, knock doors with us, and just be involved any way that you can.
And let me tell you, there is no amount of money too small. If all you have is $2 to give, then give that $2 because that makes the difference. I believe, Sister Kamilah, we may have another candidate, Walter Jones, may be on the call, and I believe he's running for an assembly
Walter,
district.
okay.
Hey, Walter, are you out there?
How you guys doing?
Hey, Walter.
Hello, how you doing?
Yes, Walter, I understand that you're running for office. If you could share with the folks who you are and what office you're running for, what the job is, and why you're running.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to this. My name is Walter Jones III. Nickname is Boo, B-O-O. I'm running for State Assembly District 6. And the reason why I'm running, I have a passion for my community. I want to make sure that everything that happens up in Carson City, which that's where the money is distributed from, up in Carson City, that's where the bills are passed up in Carson City. So in order to make it better for our community, not only for our community, but for the state of Nevada, we need to make sure we have someone up there that's pushing to make sure that we get the proper education in our school system, that we make sure that we get these two young ladies on the school board where we can all be in one accord. So we have to make sure that we get out and vote. It's very important that we get out and vote, because if you notice, we've been lacking in a lot of stuff. And it's not just with the school system, it's with the state educational board. So we definitely have to step up and make sure that we support the individuals that have the passion for what they're running for. Like I told Dr. Bywater before, one thing about Dr. Bywater, me, we're not running for a check, we're running for a change.
All right, I like that slogan. Not
Yeah.
running for a check, we're running for a change.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, the stipend is nothing. There's a stipend for the school board, but it's like $700 and something. So, you know, I didn't get in that to be rich.
$900 a month. And at State Assembly,
Okay.
we meet every other odd year. So, but on another point, we definitely have to make sure, because, you know, I don't know if a lot of people's noticed this governor turned down so many bills this year, and they only passed 2. And that was for Juneteenth and to build the Oakland A's stadium.
Wow.
And
Didn't know that.
That's an embarrassment. Yes, that's an embarrassment. And what they don't understand is, whatever decision we make, even on the school board, whatever decision we make, what people don't understand is, you're an elected official for Nevada. So whatever decisions are made in Carson City, it affects Nevada.
Right.
Whatever decisions are made on the school board, it affects Nevada.
All right, Walter. Well, I'm glad to know that you're out there, that you think like that, and wish you the best with your race. And thank you for taking time. I know you got your business. You got the Wild Wings thing going on over there, and they have Kool-Aid. This is an unsolicited plug. They actually have Kool-Aid at Wild Wings. And I'm a boy, you know, that has some origins in the South. And some people want their Merlot. I want my red Kool-Aid. And yes, red is a flavor.
Yeah. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate
Robin,
you guys.
You had your hand up?
I did, and I just wanted to say hello to my people. I absolutely love seeing y'all doing great work. And I just wanted to there were so many points that I wanted to chime in on, but one of those things is about being that disinterested voter, right? I feel like right now we have so much apathy for politics. There's a great deal of apathy, and we have quite a few people who are saying that they are ready to make change and they want to make change, and but I think that people want to hear about those specific plans. Me, myself, I want to hear about the plans. I know that I'm an involved person. I want to hear, and I go out and I meet people. But one of those things about finding that disinterested person is having somebody who will bring them with them. You know what I mean? It's about the people that you have around you. It's reaching out to that one person, and like Rodney said, is offering that person, saying, hey, come to a cookout at Robin's house, because that's you bringing somebody with you. That's you having somebody present and bringing somebody to learn about that candidate. I think that we failed to have a ride along. We need to have those ride alongs. You know what I mean? So we're going to have let's learn about Miss Perkins. Let's learn about Miss Bywaters. You know, it really is about bringing somebody to hear your message and making sure that we are out in those spaces. You know, they have those mommy me times in your district. They have those jamborees. I will be sitting down there. Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Kamilah. I'm running for, I know, do you have school-aged kids? I'm running for office. You need to meet these people in these offices. They have time at the library where they sit down and read to kids all day. Those moms are sitting right there. We need to find those people and meet them in their spaces, because they definitely, that's just almost like dating, right?
Yeah.
You're going to find a woman in the library, right? You're going to find that man in the you know, at the grocery store. Right? So I feel like we really do need to start meeting people where they're at and having somebody to bring them with them. If you're going to come, bring your mama, you know, bring your cousin. These are people who trust you. These are people who love you. They're going to listen to that person too. And then they can tell somebody, and then they tell somebody. That really is what it's about. It's that word of mouth. And that's how Dr. King got that, because it was that word of mouth, because somebody told somebody that told somebody.
That's right. That's right.
So that was just I just wanted to say that today, and just say I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so honored to be in this space with you guys, and just praise and hope. And really, I have contributed. So I ain't the one that sit back and say, I will contribute. I'm a single parent on a single parent's budget. But for the people I believe in, and I believe in you, Kamilah, I believe in everything that you say, everything that you do, because I know that you are pushing for my child to have a better last year of CCSD. Thank you, Jesus. I'm almost done, Jesus. And so I know that you are pushing for our kids and our families for, you know, Clark County. And so I believe in you, and I love everything that you got to say. And I want you to keep saying it, even if it's not on the school board, but we gonna claim it is gonna be on the school board. But even if it's not, still keep giving us those gems. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. And listen, Robin has been supporting me like no other. She's giving me the nuggets. She tells me, Kamilah, get this together, do this, and I do it. I done got every time I do a reel, she's in it. I tag her in it to make sure, listen, I'm the kind of person where I listen, I accept constructive feedback, criticism, all of it, because it's helping me to grow to be the best leader that I can be. When I'm in interviews with, and I'm talking specifically for District E, not one of my opponents can outdo me in regards to showing what their record is on why we should trust them. When I'm in an interview, before I leave, I say, I'm glad you asked why you should trust me. And then I say, go to ccsd.net, put my name in the search, and you will see how many times I've already been there to advocate on behalf of our community. So you do not have to guess or think if I'm going to be fighting for what's right for our community when you're not looking at a board meeting on the 2 Thursdays a night and the Wednesday. I'm going to be fighting when you're not looking. And I've shown that, and I've tried to definitely really make sure that I elevate that piece, because right now, especially in CCSD, we are not in a position to have people who are not ready to advocate and fight. All right. We are not. And I do want to make sure that because tonight, what I wanted to talk about were some of the things that have been going on in my campaign. So I do want to big shout out the organizations that have given me endorsements. Y'all, these meetings, it's a whole bunch of meetings and questionnaires, and I'm just having so much fun filling them all out, because it's giving me an opportunity to express what it is that I feel, my passion, and then also to share how I envision us changing the school district. And it's not hard. It's not hard because the community is given the vision. And I'm just like, hey, this is what the people want, and this is what we're going for. So big shout out to the United Brotherhood of Carpenters, Local 1977. They endorsed my campaign. Big shout out to, so this is not an endorsement. I want to make sure that this is clear. The Moms Demand Action gave me the Gun Sense Candidate Distinction for 2024. I was endorsed by the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada Action Fund, so that's Plan Action. I was also endorsed by Nevada Now PAC. I was also endorsed by Independent Black Voters and also Hispanics in Politics. So that really means a lot to me. And when I am absolutely serious about, when I say I am not here to speak for anyone, this is us collectively getting back to the table. Obviously, and I know Tracy and I, people would criticize us a lot. They're like, you got to keep students first. And I'm like, well, we are keeping students first. Let's just put that, whenever you see me, just see students across my head. I'm keeping students first, always keeping students first, but we also have to make sure that the whole structure is in balance in order for our students to be balanced. Like, we have to make sure that teachers are taken care of, support staff are taken care of. We need to make sure that taxpayer dollars are being taken care of and stay in our state and support the great work that our union workers are doing. Like, why are we sending money to Florida? Come on, somebody.
Exactly.
Florida then denied everything DEI. And yet we buy and support, and obviously there's going to be good people in those places, but it is absolutely important to me when the leaders of our unions are saying, hey, Kamilah, this is what's happening. I say, show me the problem. What's the solution? Let's go get it, period. And in the last meeting that I had, I said, I said this, help me get on the board so that we together can be advocating for change and saying what we need. You know the challenges in your specific place. I don't know all of the challenges that are happening in our community, and it really upsets me. We had a conversation with the gentleman, and Shaquilla will know, we asked him about reparations. He was like, oh, no, we can't do that. Nope. And I'm thinking, you're a candidate to immediately say, no, it's going to be too difficult. That's not leadership type of qualities, y'all. If someone comes to you with an issue, if you may not resonate with the issue, you may not have experienced the issue, but that is someone coming to you saying, I need help with something that you may not be experiencing. How can you help me live better? How can you help me to support my family in a better way that's happening now? So I am not a proponent of saying, if it didn't happen to me, then it's not happening out there. And like just Laura just said, it's having empathy for people. And that is not an ethic that I roll with. If I don't see it or it didn't happen to me, that doesn't mean that it's not happening in the world. And I'm about to start preaching, y'all. So if somebody else want to jump in, cause somebody else jump in, I'm all over the place.
I want to grab the talking stick, as we say in the men's room. And you said something earlier, and I know that this is germane to Sister Laura, who is a regent, and Dr. Holmes Sutton, who's running to be I believe, a regent. We should not underestimate the power of these offices, because regents handle money and contracts. And depending on who is your regent might depend on whether your community has access to contracts that create generational wealth. The school board has over $1 billion, right? And a lot of that money goes to contracts. People have to build the schools. They have to maintain the schools once they're built, and etc. Well, somebody has to let those contracts, right? So you can help develop a community by having the right person in these seats that know that you exist. Because a lot of people who don't look like most of us on the call don't really know most of us either. So when it comes times for those contracts, we don't get them because they don't see us and they don't know us. So to have people who do know us, to have people who understand us, that can really bolster a community. So when we're talking about education, yes, the student is number one. But for that student to have that education, they have to have a proper learning environment, which means they have to have a classroom that is well maintained with a teacher that is also well maintained in salary and benefits and time off from work, because we're working our teachers into the ground with a lot of these new programs that we're instituting. But those things all go into having a successful student, even those contracts, because now that person who has that small business who might not get a look from people who don't even know that they exist because you have more relationship with them, now maybe they can get that contract, which increases their earning potential, which also helps those young scholars out. So yes, it's always about the student, but there's a lot of that structure that Sister Kamilah talked about that goes along with the student getting the proper education, whether it's K through 12 up into higher education, as in the regions.
Yes. And I just had
Can I interject on that, Kamilah? For you all that don't know, I was on the bond oversight committee for 4 years. And one of the things that I was complaining about was they didn't have enough minority participation. They wasn't meeting their numbers. So when I mentioned that, but I also had to understand and realize that comes down from the NRS, which comes down from our state assembly, our senators, and our legislators, that we have to put in place. Well, we have to have more participation. But what ends up happening is, when you're telling somebody you only need 5 to 7% participation, well, the problem that you have, you're considered a minority because you're not a white male. But if you're a white female, you're considered as a minority. So that eliminates us from bidding on jobs. I finally was able to get on the list. So I had to step down from the bond oversight committee. And that's one of the things that we need to get past through the NRS, is we need to have bigger numbers to be involved to bid on jobs with the school, with any municipality in Las Vegas. It's just not the school district. It's the city, it's the county, it's North Las Vegas. So Henderson, we have to be able to put something in place in law. Because right now, by law, it's only 5 to 10% that they have to do minority participation. And that's anytime you're getting federal money, it has to have minority participation. But the thing that hurts us is they don't want to do programs to come in and do a co-op with a smaller company to show them how to get the bigger job, how to get the bonding. So these are the things that we need to start looking at and start working on. But that was one of the biggest things that I would bring up at our meetings, at our bond oversight committees, that we don't have no minority participation. And that's very important, because if you don't have minority participation, and most of us that's in business, if we can't bid on the job or try to get our foot in the door to bid on certain jobs for the school district or any other government and municipality, then that hurts us. So we have to get laws passed where it's ways where we have to get more, if I can put it in the right word, we have to, instead of having a certain percentage, we need to have more percentage than what they're giving us, if that makes sense.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah. We did have a couple questions from Facebook that I know we're running past time, but really quick, I was so into the conversation preaching, I forgot. Tammy said there needs to be an education campaign for the constituents before campaign season. She also said that the question was, why don't we pass legislation for every elected official to be paid a fair wage, especially in comparison to other states? And then she asked, what do your constituents want?
Is she asking you specifically, Kamilah, or like, is that like a general question for?
It can be for anyone.
Okay. I'd like to, being a native born Nevadan, we have citizen legislature. I think that's important because I think everybody who has run a campaign, I think even tonight, reaching the unengaged, right? That if we just stayed up in Carson City year round, when would we have time to reach our constituents? So I believe in our every other year. I think personally, I think it should be 90 days every year, but you have to get it done in 90 days. I mean, this 120-day madness, it's not the way it's supposed to be. And there's things that we can do to shorten that time period. There were so many bills this time or this past session, they couldn't even get through them all. But if you looked at them, about 70 of them were the same. You know, they were exactly the same, but they didn't want to put everybody's name on the one bill. Everybody wanted to have their own separate bill, which wastes time and resources. We could have done a lot. I think we could have done a better job of consolidating those. And then I was told something else, but we won't even get into why that happens. But if 100 bills are the same, that should be one bill. It should be condensed down to one bill. So we eliminate 99 other bills, but it's all there in that one bill. And the citizen legislature, I don't think I want people that are living a bubble. You have to come out of that bubble when you go knock doors, when you have to run every year or every other year, when you have to make those phone calls, when you have to come down and actually work a job. You get to meet people that are not in your circle. They're not in that political circle. So that, I think, increases our ability to make good decisions based on our constituents rather than based on the political machinery and the echo chamber that can become politics. And another thing I wanted to bring up, I'm sorry, I'm taking up overtime. Question one is about eliminating the Board of Regents from the Constitution. Earlier in the conversation, we brought up about what's happening in Florida. Well, the reason why that the Board of, not the reason, but one of the reasons that is an effect of why the Board of Regents is in the Constitution is because we are outside of that political swing. I mean, we could, if we have a great governor, then it's fine. You know, you could put the Board of Regents anywhere and it would still function the same. But if you have a not so great governor, that's when problems can start to happen because they can tell the Board of Regents, and through the Board of Regents tell the universities and institutions what they can and cannot teach. And that's question one. That's my shameless plug for question why we should vote no on question one. But the things that are happening in Florida right now are more difficult to happen in Nevada because the Board of Regents is insulated from that political swing. And I think that was brought up in the conversation earlier, and that kind of stood out to me about how we need to be concerned about students first. Students always come first.
Yeah.
And yes, unfortunately, that's some of the governors, or the governor in Florida thinks his values come first, regardless of what his constituents say or want. Oh, and about hiring more diverse people, that has been one of my pushes while I was on the Board of Regents. And they told me they don't even measure that. I'm like, yes, you do. Don't tell me that, because I know it's a checkbox on every application. You know, which identity you fall under or feel most congeal with. But when I mention that, they're like, oh, well, we're one of the most diverse schools in the country. I'm like, 3% is not diverse. Just come on, folks. I'm not bashing anybody on the Regents, and I'm not bashing our system. It's just that we need to measure the number of faculty that we have teaching versus and their ethnicity and their age and just a whole bunch of things we need to be measuring to make sure that they mimic our student body. I firmly believe that it takes one. You have to see one to be one.
Yeah.
And if we don't, and the success rate increases, so that would even, like you said, help our state. That would even increase the number of graduates we have, just by having a faculty that can identify with the student and maybe help them in a way that someone that's outside of that group can't possibly help them with. That's just my 4 cents on that one. Thank you.
Thank you. You always give good information. And thank you for that information on the question 1.
I think one of the things they need to do is other states have their state assembly and senate is full time. It's a 4 years. Because it is a full-time job, other than bills need to be passed year round, other than every other year. That would be my take on that, and I like the information that the young lady just gave us. But that's very important. It needs to. If you look at other states, and Rodney's from the East Coast, those are full-time positions, and I think it needs to be switched off. If there's anything every other year, it needs to be switched off from Carson City to up here. So then the people that live here, they can come in instead of chiming in on Zoom when they can really say what they need to say when it's held in Las Vegas.
You know, Walter, you and Laura bring up a topic, and you're coming at it from 2 different sides. And maybe we'll do a future show about the pros and cons of having a biennial legislature, because there are pros and cons on both sides of it. Maybe we can look at, and everybody, we know we started a little bit late, but we caught up to ourselves. And you know, we don't want to hold you all, because I know we start at dinner time and some of you have not had your dinner, and I know how some of you can get when you're hungry. So
yeah. And we want you to come back. Robin, did you have a final thought?
I did, and it was just about but it was the same thing about what so it really is about our politicians are not compensated for the time that they give up when they are in Carson City. And what it leads to is just rich people being able to make policies, because only the entrepreneur can afford to be a politician. So when we talk about ensuring that people are compensated or people are able to do the job up there, it should be that, because when we need some everyday working people who can leave their job and still be able to put food on their table when they're going to make decisions on behalf of their community. If we're talking about representation, it should be in the community that they live in, and people who live in North Las Vegas or in West Las Vegas, and I'm talking about old West Las Vegas, you know, they can't afford to leave their job for 4 months or 6 months or whatever it is, because quite frankly, our elected officials are in policy things throughout the year, throughout the biennial. It's not just because of the 4 months that they do the mad dash. They're doing things throughout. So I just really believe that we need to ensure that we get the everyday person to be able to go and help make policy and support the people that stand beside them. So I know that we can go on and on about this. I want to say that this was a phenomenal discussion. I'm sad that I'm always missing them. Today was a rare day of not being in my car and doing these things. But it truly is. I truly believe that we need to have a system that supports the everyday working person to be able to help make decisions for that person that's next to them, because they understand the struggle. And that's it.
Heck yeah, for sure. You know what, everyone? Thank you so much for joining today. I'm so thankful for everyone that joined in. I definitely want to make sure that we have, because we could be on here for hours. So I want to make sure that we have Dr. Holmes Sutton come on again so that she could talk about her race and give us more information about her. Also, Regent Perkins, you know, you're welcome anytime as well. And Walter, you too, you know that you're welcome anytime, whenever you want to just get in a little bit deeper about your campaigns and what you're doing and your platform, you're always welcome to this space. Also, students, families, CCSD folks, if you want to come on in, you're also welcome. We would love to have you. We've been having some great conversations. And are there any final words, Mr. Rodney, for you before I say the finals?
I
Tracy?
just want
Tracy?
thanks everybody for joining us, and for you candidates, make sure that when you're on platforms like this, you know how to get out that contact information for yourself, how you can raise those dollars, and how people can contact you.
Awesome. Tracy?
Just be looking out for these candidate forums that are coming up for districts E and C. I'm trying to remember, there's so much that's going on, and the Shepherd's Breakfast will be hosted by educational panelists, and just make sure that you're donating to their campaigns. The campaigns, they don't run off of a tree limb or anything. These young men and women need money to help support their campaigns, and also phone banking and door knocking. So please, 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 it's not a 1 day, 1 time, 1 hour, whatever. We're all hands on deck right now. And I'm thinking about the young man who was talking about Lorraine, which he thought was a school board trustee. And then he thought he was running in District C, and he was actually running in District E. So it's important that we get the right people elected to these seats, and they know what the job duties and responsibilities are and what the commitments are, and that there are going to be some things that's going to have to be sacrificed. So there are 2 campaign or candidate forums that are coming up as far as school board is concerned, which is District C and District E, and then the Shepherd's Breakfast. Those are the 3 that I'm aware of right now. And everyone have a good evening, and thank you for participating.
Yes, thank you so much, Tracy, for that. And I want to do the last reiteration on the, so listen, y'all, the school people, the school platform will be hosting the Shepherd's Breakfast on Wednesday, April 24th. Please make sure you register, because you do have to register now. So I'll make sure that I put the links up to register. But this is actually very important, because we have not had an education focus for the Shepherd's Breakfast. And I'm hoping that we can build momentum around getting our community to pay more attention to races, to education races. So Eileen Edie will be there. She's running for school board trustee, District B. Tamika Henry will be hosting. She's running for school board District C. I will be there, District E. Trisha Braxton will be hosting. She's running for State Board of Education. And also Dr. Tanya Holmes Sutton will be there, and she's running for the Board of Regents. So we hope that you all will come on out. Make sure that you're sharing with your platforms, our Facebook Live, share our information, and just continue to share, and help however you can. I'm Kamilah Bywaters. I'm running for the Board of School Trustees, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a wonderful evening, my friends.